All right, everybody on YouTube, back with another video. Uh, Topic: what is your logical reason for your atheism? And we have our first guest, Starline. Okay. Hello, Starline. What is your reason for your atheism? Maybe she requested up by mistake. I don't know. All right, let me open my file here. Starline, you there? All right. Looking forward to some good conversations. All right, so when I ask this question to atheists or people who identify as atheists, and I ask them, what is your reason for your atheism? Or what is your logical reason for your atheism? I'll get answers like, I'm unconvinced, or I haven't seen any convincing evidence. That's number one. The other one is, there is no evidence for God. The other one is, um, there's no convincing evidence for God, or there is no good reason to believe in God. You hear all these answers, but none of them are actually rational answers. So let me show you. If we were to put these into a syllogism, if we were to put these, I don't believe that there are any. I don't believe in agnostics. I don't believe in agnosticism. I don't think that there is anyone out there who doesn't know that God exists, because the claim of Christianity is that God is the ultimate. And if you deny that God is the ultimate, then you are implicitly saying that something else is the ultimate and it's not God. So by saying you don't know and then speaking, making predication, making propositions, living, you are living in accordance with an ultimate that you may not want to identify or you have identified. And that ultimate is not God. So it negates the existence of God. There's no escaping. There's no escaping it. Jate. Okay. It's illogical to believe. And it's illogical to believe in anything that's undefined. Hello, how you doing? What is your logical reason for your atheism?
I just can I ask you first? Do you believe like the world was created? What is you guys usually do like 6,000 years ago or something?
No, I don't believe the world was created 6,000 years ago. No, I don't believe that.
Oh, okay. Like I don't believe in God because I just don't think He exists. And like, do you believe in creationism or?
Yeah, I do. God created the world and the universe.
I see. And when exactly did He do that?
Thousands of years ago, not millions, not billions, but not 6,000.
You don't believe the universe is billions of years old?
No, I don't, because the dating methods are contradictory. So there's no way of knowing with absolute certainty how old the world is.
I was just curious to hear your thoughts because, I mean, do you trust the data and results that scientists publish?
What results? Like carbon dating?
No, not carbon dating. Well, we can see light and we can measure light and how fast light is and how long it takes for light to travel, say, from the sun to the earth, correct?
I believe every scientific conclusion that does not contradict the Bible.
Okay. But so you do you agree that we know how to measure how long it takes light to get from point A to point B?
Yeah, I do. I think we know that.
Okay. And so you can measure how long it took the light to get from the beginning of the universe, like the Big Bang, and how far it's traveled since then. And they've calculated that it's around 13 billion years old. So that's why I don't believe that Jesus created Earth or God created Earth or whatever. We have like scientific proof that it was created 13 billion years ago.
And my claim is that there are multiple ways of dating. The ways that I have in my notes are radiometric dating. There are multiple ways of dating things, and
Sure. Mm-hmm.
they contradict each other.
Stuff on Earth.
We get different conclusions. We get young Earth dating. We get old Earth dating. My entire point is that the methodology of science being based on induction does not provide anyone with absolute certainty. All you have from the scientific community are explanational models that you can accept or reject, is up to you. But there was a time when it was a universal accepted model that the universe was static and the universe was eternal until it was discovered that the universe was expanding. So any scientific conclusion given by the scientists, because science doesn't say anything, scientists do, we have no obligation to accept anything they say because they are explanational models about how they think things are or how they think things came to be. I have no obligation to accept anything from them.
Oh, you don't believe scientists is what you're saying?
I believe scientists when they correspond to my ultimate standard. And I'm going to point out, anyone who treats the scientific method as their ultimate standard will have to say every single time when they are asked a question, are you absolutely certain about any conclusion the scientific method gave you? You have to say no, which means that you have destroyed the possibility of knowledge because you don't know anything with certainty.
Interesting. Okay, and like what incentive would they have to, I don't know, lie about the creation of the universe and how old it is, or how old carbon dating works and stuff like that?
That's not my
claim. No incentive for them to lie about that.
That's not my claim. I'm not claiming that scientists are lying. I'm not claiming that. My claim is the methodology of science.
Just because you can't prove it completely 100%?
No. My claim is that the methodology of science that people depend on who don't believe in God as if it's absolute is not absolute. It is open for revision. It is provisional. It is open for correction. So I'm pointing out anyone who holds the scientific method to be their ultimate standard of epistemology, you do not know anything with absolute certainty. Nothing at all.
Do you believe in evolution?
No, I don't.
Like, not one bit.
Which aspect of evolution are you talking about? Natural selection? Mutations?
That's all.
Abiogenesis?
I mean, yeah, I won't include abiogenesis, but I will include everything else under the umbrella of evolution.
But evolution depends on abiogenesis. You have to have life before you have evolution.
What?
You have to have life before you have evolution, because evolution is a descriptor of adaptation in species. So you have to have a species.
So, do you believe that we share a common ancestor with apes?
No, I don't believe that for a second.
But it's scientifically proven to be true.
Okay, here's the question. Has the scientific methodology examined every human being that has ever existed and come to the conclusion that we all evolved from one common ancestor?
Yes, that's how evolution works.
So every human being that has ever existed, the scientists have examined them.
Well, sure, you can't go back and study the Romans because they've been dead for centuries now, but yes, that is how science works. That's how evolution works.
You mean it's limited to the inductive method, in that you can only examine a limited number of things, and then from those limited number of things, you make a generalization.
Yeah, that's how the world in science works.
Yeah, so again, it doesn't provide you with absolute certainty then.
So does that mean you don't believe in antibiotics, which use bacterial evolution to provide you with resistance to diseases?
Of course, I believe in those things because they're medicine. The Bible commands us to actually seek medical attention when we're sick. It's in
Yeah,
accordance
but
with
a
my
lot
worldview.
of modern day medicine is not based on evolution, but like the reason why we understand how diseases work is a result of natural selection, evolution, all sorts of biology that's been proven to be true. So why would they be lying, or why wouldn't you believe the same for how humans evolved?
Let's talk about natural selection for a bit, so I can try to help you understand where I'm coming from. The claim of natural selection is that it weeds out the weak and adds new information, right?
It doesn't add new information, it just preserves the traits that are preferential for your survival.
It preserves the traits that are preferential for your survival. So when a species or when an entity evolves into something else, does it evolve and then have traits that it did not have before?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you say that it doesn't add anything, how is that not a contradiction?
I think you're like thinking of it too literally. Like, let's say I have a genetic mutation that causes blindness. That's obviously a bad mutation, and as a result, I might say I was a caveman back in the day. I would die because of that mutation, most likely. However, let's say I had a mutation where I had 20/20 eyesight for a long majority of my life. That would be preferential to my survival. Well, sure, it didn't. I guess you could say it added something. Maybe it didn't. It depends on how you want to look at it. But yes, mutations either positively affect you or negatively affect you, and then if it helps you survive, you're more likely to pass those on to your next generation.
So it adds.
It's up to your definition of add. I don't like.
That's what I read in the literature, that natural selection turns simplicity into complexity. Isn't that right?
Did you just like look that up on Google? Like, what?
No, I didn't just look it up on Google. I read a book. The Pillars of Evolution by Gary Bergman, and he was an evolutionist. He was an atheist scientist, and he's just pointing out that these are the claims that natural selection teaches, that simplicity turns into complexity, where it weeds out the weak and it adds to the species. So the new species, it has something beneficial that the old one didn't have.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, that's my understanding. That's what I read. I could be inaccurate, but I was asking you, and it sounds like you agree with me. So
Yes.
if it adds, and if it adds, why is it that when we actually look at the peer review research, they say the opposite? Let me pull this up. So I made sure that I looked into these things before I make any claims. Okay, so here we are. This is the peer review research. Motu Kimura, population geneticist, the Natural Institute of Genetics, says natural selection is a conservative force. It does not create new genetic variation. The natural theory posits that most molecular changes are neutral and selection primarily acts to eliminate deleterious mutations, preserving stability rather than driving innovation. So, if this is true, and it only eliminates and never creates and never adds, how is it that you have a species becoming another species, but the new species has traits that the other one did not have, and these traits are beneficial than the other one?
So you're arguing that new species cannot be created as a result of natural selection?
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing that the actual literature on these things contradicts the claim. The claim is that natural selection eliminates the weak and it produces complexity from simplicity, giving beneficial mutations to the future generations. We don't see that in the literature.
By literature, you mean you're stating the opinion of one geneticist?
I have 20. I have 20 of them.
Sure. Is it an opinion of these geneticists, or is this an actual article, literature published in PubMed or any Google Scholar? Like, are you reading from, like, what is the DOI of this book?
The source is The Neutral Theory of Molecular Evolution, 1983, page 26.
So 1923.
And,
Is that what you said?
And this other one is Richard Dawkins. Are you aware of Richard Dawkins?
No.
Okay. Richard Dawkins, a very famous atheist, is an evolutionary biologist from Oxford University. From his book, The Blind Watchmaker, Why the Evidence of Evolution Reveals a Universe Without Design, he says, speaking about natural selection, we assume that natural selection can create complex adaptations. One day, we'll fully map how. Natural selection is a blind watchmaker, crafting intricate designs from simple beginnings through cumulative selection. While we have no examples like the eye or the wing, the full pathway for each is not yet detailed. But we hope genomic and developmental biology will reveal the step-by-step process. So what I'm trying to point out is there is no evidence that shows that natural selection produces new genetic material. It only eliminates. But that is exactly what needs to happen for you to have evolution. You have to have additions of new beneficial mutations, but you don't have that. So where's the evidence for it?
Well, the evidence is in newer published data. If you go back to 1923, whenever this was published, we had very limited technological advances that allowed us to understand the human genome as a whole. I believe the entire human genome was like finally mapped out in the late 80s or early 90s. I can't remember. So
okay.
I would just encourage you to look at more advanced and modern literature when it comes to evolution.
I'm willing to be corrected right now. Tell me something I can look up right now on my computer. Right now, I'm willing to be corrected. That shows where there is evidence of natural selection, not just eliminating, but also producing new genetic material that benefits the next generation within the evolutionary chain. Give me anything.
No. I think you're getting it confused. I'm not arguing that there will be any literature that does prove that there's additive, or like what you're talking about. What I'm saying is our understanding of how evolution works has gotten much better since 1923. And so I would encourage you to read more modern literature because it will help explain a lot of the questions that article or blurb you just talked about. Some of the questions it asks, we can now answer.
Is 2005 something that you would say is more recent than 1980s?
Yes.
Okay, I'll read Douglas Futuyama, evolutionary biologist. I probably butchered his last name. He says, we expect natural selection to create novelty. It's a foundational assumption. Natural selection is the process by which populations become adapted to their environment, and we hope it explains the origin of new species and higher taxa through the accumulation of variations. This is from the source, Evolution, page 45. Sorry, page 47. And this is from 2005. I have one from 2009 as well. Jerry Coyne, evolutionary biologist, he says, natural selection creates adaptations. We hope to understand the full mechanism someday. It shifts through genetic variation provided by mutation, eliminating the unfit and promoting the fit. While we have no clear examples, the details for complex traits remain to be fully mapped. So they don't know, they haven't seen the evidence, it is an assumption. That's what I'm getting from the literature, from the peer reviews, and from the literature, and from scientists who write in their own books. That's what I'm getting.
I agree, because there will be scientists who argue, one, avenue for how evolution works, and there will be scientists that argue other. And so that's why I'm saying you have to, broaden your mind. You have to be open to reading both sides of the literature. I think you're suffering from confirmation bias, right? You're searching out literature that fits your worldview, which is okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just explaining to you that there's a large majority of scientists who might believe things that are different than the material you're looking at right now.
And I told you I'm willing to be corrected. Do you have any scientist, any biologist, any expert you can point me to that I can look up right now who says the opposite of what I read? That they have actually observed and discovered and have published the evidence in literature that we can literally go to and say, hey, this happened, and they published about it. And the literature says that natural selection actually produces new genetic material that can be passed on to new generations after eliminating the unbeneficial ones.
Yeah, so I'm never arguing that evolution adds like new material.
No, not evolution, natural selection.
I agree. Okay, I'm saying natural selection does not add anything new.
Okay, so how do we get a more advanced species that evolved from a less evolved species without anything being added via natural selection? How does that happen?
By natural selection.
Are you messing with me right now, bro? Are you messing with me?
I am being dead serious, man. I'm a medical student, so I'm being dead serious.
So wait a minute. So natural selection doesn't add anything, no. and by natural selection we have a species coming out of an older species that has more genetic material that is beneficial than the old one, and nothing was added via natural selection.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what random mutations are.
Okay. All right, buddy. All right. And being a medical student, you have nothing you can point me to that I could go and look at, anything right now?
I'm just a random dude who joined your life, so I don't carry around a list of evolutionary biologists.
That's fair.
I would encourage you to do your own research. And
that's fair. That's fair. All right, man. Thank you for your time. And if are you done, or you want to talk about?
No, I'll let you be. But yeah, thank you for having a nice discussion, and I wish you the best, sir.
All right, thank you, buddy, and good luck on the medical stuff. All right, so that's just one of the things, and I'm always willing to be corrected. Like for everybody on YouTube who will see this video, and everybody on, it's only 3 people on TikTok right now. What I'm saying is I have my sources. I have my material. I can pull them up. I can read from them, backing up all of my claims, because I'm not an expert in these things. So I read the experts. What do the experts say? And they don't support the vast majority of the claims that are preached like it's gospel by a lot of people who don't believe in God. And I'm not saying that the young man who was up here doesn't have anything to give me that shows me the opposite. I'm not going to say that because I don't know. What I'm going to say is he didn't provide it in this particular conversation. And maybe one day he will. And I'm going to go look up to see, what the other side says. Do they say that natural selection produces new genetic material? And if they do say that, why do we have people who are equally qualified as them saying the opposite? I'm going to look into that and see what's up. Because if he had given me someone who said the opposite, I would have asked them, why do we have people with the same qualifications contradicting each other on this? What's the problem? Even people who are non-religious are contradicting each other on this. What's going on? And so the reason why we got off on that was because he asked me if I believe in evolution. I said, no. Do you believe in natural selection? I said, no. And these are explanational models presented by scientists based upon things that they have seen and evidence that they have interpreted. I am under no obligation to accept any conclusion from any scientist because their conclusions are provisional. They can change tomorrow into the opposite. That's what science is. The scientific method, rather. It could change at any moment. So I have no obligation to depend on it. None whatsoever. All right, so atheism is the default setting. It's up to believers to convince me that what they believe is true. No, bliss, no, that's not how it works. Whenever we're dealing with ultimates, whenever we are dealing with ultimates, the burden of proof is on both sides. The burden of proof is on both sides. You are getting this stupidity from a man named, oh boy, I forgot his name. It's not Scott Shalkowski. Damn, I forgot his name. He wrote an essay about he wrote an essay called The Presumption of Atheism. I forgot his name. He wrote an essay called The Presumption of Atheism, stating that those who are defending something, and he uses a court setting, that those who are defending, those who are, oh boy, I gotta pull him up. Presumption of atheism. Gotta pull him up because I wanna presumption.
Okay, I see the person jumping. Okay, there's progress. Okay, I did it. Did that one? Oh, I saw that person fall. Okay. Oh, dude, this is tricky.
I'll pull up presumption of atheism. That's what the essay is called, but I forgot what the guy's name is.
We're good? Okay, and then what is this supposed to be here? Do we do it?
And there you go, saying atheism isn't a positive claim. Are you aware, Bliss, that there are two definitions for atheism that are accepted? Definition number one is atheism is the denial of the existence of God, positive claim. And the other one is a lack of belief in God. Are you aware that there are two definitions that are valid according to accepted meanings? Yeah, okay. Presumption of atheism. Presumption. So, just want to know what your logical reason is for your atheism. Presumption of atheism. Presumption of atheism. Search. Okay. What's his name again? Atheological apologetics. Totally missing this. Okay, there are only 11 of them. Presumption of atheism. Oh, here he is. Anthony Flew, British philosopher, redefined atheism in The Presumption of Atheism, in that you will not find the definition of atheism being a lack of belief before Anthony Flew. He's the one who came with his essay in the 20th century and wrote The Presumption of Atheism. And he made a distinction between positive atheism and negative atheism. He said positive atheism states that God does not exist, and negative atheism simply states they lack a belief in God. And then he says in a quote on page 14, the word atheism should be constructed in a manner analogous to the word amoral. Just as an amoral person is one who has no morals, so an atheist is one who has no belief in God. This is the guy who redefined atheism, Anthony Flew. So one man's definition does not trump all of history's definition of atheism being a negation of God's existence. The reason why you atheists, are so in love with that definition is because you can't defend God does not exist. So you have to stick back and say, hey, convince me that God doesn't exist. and you just shut down everything that is thrown at you. But it's fine. I'm not here to convince anybody. Manny, let me bring you up. What is your logical reason for your atheism?
My only reason to not accept Christianity is I don't know the whole story of the life of Jesus from the Bible, because I don't know where he was when he was 17. How can I believe in a story that I don't know the whole story about?
So your reason for your atheism is you don't know the whole story
of Jesus.
All right. So does it logically necessarily follow that because you don't know the whole story of Jesus that God doesn't exist?
Yeah, because I need to know the whole story to believe in it.
Hey, Bliss, just responding to your comment, I would.
Why are you gonna ignore me?
No, I'm not gonna ignore you. I'm gonna respond to what you're saying. So, what you're telling me is called a non sequitur in logic, where the conclusion does not follow from the premises. When you say that you don't know the whole story of Jesus, therefore God does not exist, that's a non sequitur.
No,
it doesn't follow. I asked you just now, you said yes. Does God not exist because you don't know the full story?
No, you did not understand what I said.
Okay.
The thing that you say God is a part of a story. If I don't know the whole story, why should I believe into that?
Why should you believe in God? You should believe in God because the Bible commands you to believe in God. That's why you should.
I'll rephrase it again. I will simplify it. If I believe in a story of a person, I should know everything about that story.
And I'm going to respond to you by saying this, okay? I am totally fine with you not believing in God because you don't know the full story, because it's a non sequitur. It does not follow that God doesn't exist because you don't know the full story. I don't care.
You are comparing God with Jesus. Jesus is the Son of God, not God.
The Bible says that Jesus Christ is God. John chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word is with God, and the Word was God. The Word became flesh, verse 14. Exactly, so, according to Christianity, Jesus Christ is God. You not knowing the full story does not logically follow that God doesn't exist. Okay?
According to the Bible, if the Bible does not tell the whole story of the prophet, that is the Son of God, why should I believe in that book who does not tell the whole story about its own prophet? That is
I already told you, buddy. I already told you. The Bible commands you to believe in God. If you don't believe in God, for the reason that you gave, it is a non sequitur, and I'm totally fine with that. Let me bring up Darth. Let me bring up Darth. Waiting for the guest to join. So I don't care. That's your reasoning for not believing in God. That's okay. It's okay.
I'm gonna get an educated Christian, so maybe that guy can answer. You cannot answer that question because I don't think you are educated enough in Christianity to answer.
Oh, really? Okay. You can go right ahead and ask someone else.
Thank you.
Goodbye, buddy. Goodbye. Hey, Darth, I was just trying to bring you up, but So I want everybody on YouTube who will hear this. I asked him the reason for his atheism, the logical reason. He said because he doesn't know the whole story. So you don't believe in God because you don't know the full story? That's a non sequitur. It does not follow that God does not exist just because you don't know the full story. All right, so next guy, MK. Hey, what is your logical reason for your atheism?
I don't have one.
You don't have one?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question though. 'Cause I'm not atheist. So
Okay. Hey, Darth. I was just trying to bring you up before the guy left, but he left before I could.
Okay, so MK, I'm going to ask you a very precise question. Do you acknowledge and affirm the necessity of God?
Yes.
Okay, what God do you believe in?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so any one of you two can answer. But why is God necessary? And what makes the Trinity necessary? Those two. I believe God. I know Darth talking
because God is the only thing that is eternal without beginning. Everything else is contingent. So because God is eternal and he is the single causal first principle, then by the state of ontology, he's necessary.
Okay.
The Trinity is a revelation of God to us that when we study it and examine it, it demonstrates God's perfection, because a God who would not be Trinitarian could not be classified or categorized as perfect.
Okay, why?
A Unitarian God, for example, could not actualize love. It could not actualize the relationality aspect of being a maximally personal being.
Okay.
So a Unitarian God cannot be perfect.
Okay. All right, that's perfect. And hearing some arguments, why is it necessary? How does God ground morality, logic, and
that's already been explained to you, because he is the absolute of the model of reality. He is the only thing that is eternal. Everything else is contingent, derivative, and dependent. And because of his eternal nature, that he is the single causal origin of everything, therefore he's the only thing that is necessary.
So, from what I'm gathering, because God is efficacious, necessary.
Whoa, what do you mean by efficacious?
Wouldn't that just mean necessary? As in, like,
no, efficacious means that something is able to produce something.
Okay, I see.
Like if you take antibiotics, it would be efficacious to rid you of the infection.
Oh, I see. Thank you. If God is necessary, then that would just mean that because logic, truth, morality would just have to be
God
by necessity.
God is the ultimate. Okay, so logic is rooted in the law of identity, law of non-contradiction, and law of excluded middle.
Yeah.
Foundational among them all is a law of identity. God is the ultimate and absolute identity state, without which you couldn't talk about contingent states of identity.
Okay.
All contingent states of identity depend upon the absolute ultimate identity statement. If that is rejected, then they're going to have to explain to us outside of the Christian worldview, what is it that is absolute, and what is it that actualizes and sustains identity states. But the problem is this: once you start talking about something other than the self-revealing triune God, then you're just getting into stuff that people are just making up.
Okay. I think this might be my last question. I'm really just trying to remember it. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's just me again.
Gotta hurry up because I have to go in a few minutes.
No, then
I got 6 minutes.
Okay, I think I'm good here. Thank you.
Yeah, so Adrian, 99.9% of the people you're dealing with in varying degrees, but they all tend to be closer to the same degree, they have no idea what they're talking about. They're just passionate. Yeah. They don't realize all of the elementary erroneous mistakes that they make in reasoning, because they haven't exposed themselves to robust opposition. Right? That when you face robust opposition, it forces you into a critical thinking stage. And so they're just so accustomed to their unbelieving way of thinking They don't realize that in actuality their thinking is, upon stress testing, incoherent. It all leads to I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. MK is asking, how does God solve the one and the many problem? That's a very good one.
Okay, so the God of the Bible reveals that he is one God subsisting as three persons, exemplifying that he is the one and the many, and the one and the many are equally ultimate. And God creates a world that reflects that exemplification of being one and the many. And in the world, we have unity and diversity in the world, resulting in coherence and intelligibility. So God is the ultimate one of the many that creates, sustains the unity and diversity of the world. Oneness would be unity, manyness would be diversity. Unity, diversity.
Okay. So if God was just one, as in a universal, what would the world look like, and how would that be illogical?
Well, first of all, no such world could exist.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just talking about such a world would just be a leap into fantasy. So a God that is one, a Unitarian, could not be perfect. And unless we have a God who is the sum of all perfections, because if God is imperfect in one area, then he can be imperfect in another. So unless we're dealing with God who is the sum of all perfections, then we'll be dealing with a model of reality that is not undergirded by the sum of all perfections. And in such a world, you're going to have chaos. It's going to be a chance world.
Okay.
You have to have one God who is the absolute, who creates the world and controls all things according to his mind, purpose, and plan. If that is rejected, it results in incoherence.
Okay.
Now, those who oppose this are blinded by their confirmation bias because they're not interested in looking for monumental defeaters for their position. They're not on the lookout for that, right? So they're not, because they're committed to their false and unjustifiable belief that they're independent and autonomous operators. They're not ruthlessly looking for devastating defeaters to their position, nor do they care when one is presented.
Okay. And I know I'm asking a lot, but I'm on your lives quite a lot, and I'm on Constantine's lives quite often, and Keto, if you know him as well. When arguing with atheists or debating atheists, a lot of
Let me just stop you right there.
Right. Coconut water.
He's gone. He probably has his plate full.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, whenever you are debating atheists, you have to always keep it at the worldview level. You ask them, without God, how do you ground all of the things that we experience in reality? Laws of logic, personality, consciousness, relationality, rationality. How do you ground these things without God? And you'll always find that their entire worldview is shrouded in mystery. They're going to say a lot of things like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. But here's a fallacy that you can look up and learn. It's called the fallacy of unwarranted exclusion. And what this is when you say that you don't know what something is, but you know what the thing is not. An example would be, you know who your father is, right? You have a dad, you know who he is, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know that I am not your father. You know that John Doe down the road is not your father because you know who your father is. Now, if you don't know who your father is, every time you make a statement and say, I know that this guy is not my father, or that guy is not my father, you are making those claims without absolute certainty. So it's the same when you make reference to things like God. I don't know what the ultimate grounding for logic is, but I know it's not God. That's a fallacy because how do you know what the thing is not when you don't know what it is? You following?
Right, I'm following.
Yeah, so keep it on the worldview and always point out to the atheist, your worldview does not provide you with any grounding for any experience in reality. And by rejecting God, by rejecting him as the ultimate, you don't have any basis for absolute certainty. You don't have any basis for morality because every time you ask them why is something wrong, they give you their opinion. They don't give you anything of substance. So keep it on the worldview level. How do you ground rationality? How do you ground? You see what Darth asked you was, do you acknowledge and affirm the necessity of God? There's only one answer to that, one or two. Yes or no.
Yeah.
If you don't acknowledge and affirm the existence or the necessity of God, then that means you are denying God's existence by not affirming his necessity because he's the necessary being. So that's why I don't believe that there's an agnostic out there who exists. There's no agnostic. Either you affirm the necessity of God or you don't. If you don't, then you're an atheist. And if you don't, then there is something else that's necessary and that's ultimate. And it's not God, so what is it? They're going to say, well, I don't know. But if you don't know, how do you know it's not God? How do you know?
I think a lot of atheists would say, why does it have to be God? But then definitionally, then it would just have to be God because he is necessary by definition, correct?
Right, that's what I'm about to say. Why does it have to be God? Because he's a necessary being. That's why it has to be God and nothing else and no one else. And if you deny him, then you are implicitly or explicitly saying that something else is necessary and it's not God. What is that thing? What is the something else? They don't know. They don't know.
And I was going to ask as well, what is the argument for the identity over time problem?
The identity of a what?
Identity over time.
The identity of the time?
Over time.
Oh, identity over time. Okay. So when you have an ultimate necessary being who created everything and sustains everything, you can have identity over time, persisting over time, grounded in a being who has identity persisting over time. It comes and flows from the source and corresponds to the source. So because God is persistently upholding our existence through time, our identity is grounded in his power and in his essence as he continually keeps us in existence for his glory. And that grounds persistence of identity. But when you remove that, all you have is random chance acting on matter, which means that your identity right now may not persist for the next 5 minutes. You don't know. But we know as Christians because God's power grounds all of reality.
Okay. So that makes a lot more sense. And a lot of atheists like to use, and it's not been making much sense to me anyway, but a lot of atheists like to use that the universe is eternal, but that doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not eternal. They like to say that because they think it gives them an escape hatch for saying we don't need God because the universe has always been there. The vast majority of the scientific community disagrees with that. The universe is expanding. That means it started somewhere. And before this was the accepted theory by the majority, people used to think the universe was eternal. But every Christian who believes the Bible would have said the universe was created. And then it was discovered that the universe was expanding and therefore started somewhere. So we're like, hey, see, the Bible said it all along. If they say the universe is eternal, then they're just making stuff up and doing special pleading because they don't want there to be a God. So they're just trying to find something that can keep them in their atheism, but it doesn't work. Poison Elf, you are misquoting the law of thermodynamics. What it says is that energy in a closed system changes its form and cannot be created nor destroyed. In a closed system. Look it up before you make statements like that. You have to have the closed system first before you have that. And when they say energy cannot be created nor destroyed, they're saying that they, the scientist, can't create nor destroy energy or matter. They're the ones who can't do it. So get your facts right, buddy. Hey, Seth, how you doing, bro? Greetings, brother. So I'm glad I could help you out, MK.
Definitely. And also just one more, and this is something I want to just really take home with me. I've really taken it all in. In regards to philosophy and theology, like metaphysics, where do you presume that should start?
In metaphysics, what?
In regards to like philosophy, theology, and metaphysics, like logic, where do you presume that I should start? Where do you think I should keep going from?
Oh, where do I recommend you start regarding that?
Yeah. Just in regards to theology, philosophy, metaphysics.
All right. So for theology, I recommend that you start with Wayne Grudem's systematic theology. Oh, let me pull it out of my bookshelf here. Damn, got my bookshelf in front of me. So let me see. Oh no, it's backwards. It's backwards. Wayne Grudem's systematic theology. Wow. Read that one.
Do you mind spelling out his name for me quickly?
Wayne and Grudem, Grudem. You can get it on Amazon through Kindle or hard copy. I recommend you get it through Kindle because it's a very massive book. It took me like 6 months to read it off. It's a massive book, man.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
Yeah, it has 1,586 pages. Yeah, it's a massive book. So I recommend you get it on Kindle because, it's not that intimidating because the reason why it's so big is because it covers various topics. It covers theology proper, Christology, pneumatology, eschatology, all of these various disciplines within systematic theology. And you can just look at it like a library. It's a library of 10 books that deal with 10 different topics. That's why it's so massive. So you just read them by topic and you learn, you have a foundation of, what Christian theology is and can be able to correct stupidity that you hear out there. I heard this one atheist said that God is a contradiction because justice and mercy, or rather, justice and grace are antithetical to each other, and God is all justice and all mercy, or all justice and all grace. And I'm like, this guy does not know that in Christianity we teach that God is simple. The simplicity of God is that he's not made in parts, but he's one. Yeah, he's not made in parts. If he was made in parts, then you would have the part called grace and the part called justice, and that would be a contradiction. But God is not in parts. God is one essence. And the reason why we know of his justice, his mercy, his grace is because that one essence expresses itself, and by our observation, we see those expressions in justice, mercy, grace, etc. God remaining all of his attributes and all of his attributes remaining him. So having that distinction from systematic theology, that atheist wouldn't have made that error. But atheists, for the most part, don't care about the truth. They don't care about actually knowing Christianity so that they can know what they're criticizing and know what they're trying to refute. So they always refute a straw man, something that Christianity isn't. And I'm like, if all you can do is misrepresent Christianity to try to defeat it, that's totally fine. It's not Christianity. So I'm totally fine. So that's what I recommend. And for philosophy, what I would recommend is that you read You read what's his name? Cornelius Van Til. Read Cornelius Van Til, and I want to give you a book title because he's a Christian philosopher who wrote about God's existence, and it's very amazing. And I want you to watch some lectures on YouTube. Those lectures come from Greg Bonson. Yes. Van Til. No. Hold on. Okay, here we are. Okay, so he has a book, Cornelius Van Til, Systematic Theology. Okay, I want you to read Cornelius Van Til, An Introduction to Systematic Theology. He covers philosophical topics as well in that book so that you can have a basic grasp.
Okay.
So Van Til is Vantil. Van Til. And Cornelius is spelled exactly how it's said. Let me turn this light on. Oh. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And lastly, just metaphysics. I know that metaphysics is part of your philosophy, though.
No. In the book I just recommended, he covers metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, and there's this other one. Wait. Metaphysics, epistemology, ethics, and logic. He covers all of them in that book. So I recommend those as a starter, and you'll have a grasp.
I think once I have a grasp, I can then start branching out on my own.
Yeah. I recommend you just learn Christian theology first, and once you know Christian theology, you'll have a lot of correcting that you'll be doing to atheists and people of other perspectives before you actually start defending the faith by knowing what the counter arguments are for their arguments that they bring out. So just know the truth first, and then just get into correcting. Hey, that's wrong. This is what Christianity believes. You're wrong. What you're saying is false, is what we believe. And then you can learn the argumentation as to how to refute certain arguments and, start doing actual apologetics. You're on the right track.
Thanks so much. Now recently I've just been really convicted about, going out there, doing apologetics without really knowing much. So I know some, but not enough to really go out and do apologetics.
Yeah. You'll learn, man. You'll learn. All you need is the passion and the zeal.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, dude.
No problem.
I appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Okay.
This guy said, just read the effing Bible. That's what atheists do. Yeah, that's why you guys come away not understanding what you're reading, because you're reading the Bible, an ancient book, through a 21st century lens, and then you think that you're going to understand what you're reading. And then when you come away with your conclusions without knowing what the hell you're talking about, you say, hey, the Bible is false, the Bible is false, the Bible is false. That's why people 500 years from now can read books from Americans and people from England and people from other countries and say, those people were so stupid. So just read them without any context, any perspective, any understanding of the world, the ancient context, the ideology of the people, no understanding whatsoever about these things, and then just read the Bible and draw your conclusions. That's perfect. That's perfect. I'm totally fine with that. You read the Bible, misunderstand it, and be an atheist. It's totally fine, because you are refusing to believe in a version of Christianity that you have created and that is not representative of the Bible. Totally fine. It's a straw man. So keep it up. It's fallacy. All right, next guy. Joseph, what is your logical reason for your atheism?
Because I'm
refuse to believe in a God, there I give you an answer to your question. Not free. You're more than free to ask me another question. Now I'll try to give you an answer.
So your reason is because you refuse to believe in a God.
Yes, I give you a logical answer.
Okay. Does it logically follow that because you refuse to believe in God, that God doesn't exist?
Yes, because no one can show me the proof that God exists. They just want me to believe in it.
Okay, so if I refuse to believe that Abraham Lincoln existed, does that logically follow that he didn't exist?
I mean, you can refuse not to believe in him, but you know he existed.
No, yeah, I think you're missing my question.
Existed.
I think you're missing my question. Does Abraham Lincoln automatically don't exist because I refuse to believe that he exists?
I mean, it's pretty much on you if you want to refuse. He doesn't exist.
Okay, so you accept that it does not logically follow that if you refuse to believe something, it is therefore not true or doesn't exist.
Well, I have a question for you. Why should I go around judging others because they refuse to believe in a God?
Wait, before you ask me, I want to know, do you concede that it does not logically follow that because you refuse to believe something, it therefore now doesn't exist or is not true?
I mean, for being not to believe in something, there has to be a proof. So if I give you the proof that it exists, then yes, I can deny the existence of it.
Okay, you're not getting it, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yes, but like I say, why should I go?
Raul Duke, welcome back, Raul, welcome back. Did you go and learn what the fruits of Christianity is yet, or are you coming back with your ignorant, empty brain? Did you go learn? I hope you did. Anyways, Joseph, let's get back to you. So, what would you consider evidence for God?
For me to believe that God exists, I need to see it with my 2 eyes.
And to see with your 2 eyes, what is the thing that you would have to see with your 2 eyes to believe that God exists? What is that thing you would have to see?
A physical evidence.
Physical evidence, okay. So the evidence would be what? What's the evidence?
Me seeing it like I'm seeing your face right now.
So you would want God.
Like I'm seeing your face through a screen, but
so to believe in
it's
God.
possible that you can show up.
So to believe in God, you would have to see God, right?
Yes.
So
like
God would have to.
Real, I need to see it instead of believing in it.
So God would have to reveal Himself to you for you to believe in God. Is what you're saying?
Yes, and as much as I've been asking for it to show up, He doesn't.
Okay, so why do you think you are that important for God to appear to you?
Sorry, but I think the reason why God is revealing to myself is because He doesn't give a fuck about me.
No, I'm asking you why do you think that you are that important for God to reveal Himself to you? I don't think I'm that important for God to reveal Himself to me. Why do you think
I say, He's probably not revealing Himself on me because He doesn't give a fuck about me.
Now, you know, that could be very possible.
Get out, please. Get out as quick as possible.
I'm asking you, why would God reveal Himself to you? What's so special about you? Why would He?
I mean, I would say that I've been through so many things, and if God is so loving, He doesn't care about me. So I just pretty much want to see if God loves me by doing something productive to me, by solving all my problems.
I mean, so you want God to solve all your problems, and then you'll believe in Him?
I mean, if He shows up to fix one of my problems, there can be a reason why I should believe in it.
Look, man, all I'm trying to find out here is what is the logical reasoning for why you don't believe in God, and what I'm getting is, okay, God hasn't shown himself to me, therefore God doesn't exist. That doesn't logically follow. If someone doesn't show themselves to you, it doesn't mean they don't exist. Another one is God hasn't solved all my problems, therefore God doesn't exist. That doesn't logically follow either. If God doesn't solve your problems, or if something doesn't solve your problems, it doesn't logically follow that God doesn't exist. Wow.
Okay, but
Raul, you were really butthurt about our conversation earlier. Wow. You were really butthurt. You're muted now, so you can leave whenever you're ready, bro. You can leave whenever you're ready. You were really butthurt about our last conversation. So you came back. You came back to comment on my page. Just block me so you never have to see me again, because I never want to see you again. So just get out of here, buddy. Goodbye. It was nice knowing you. This guy that came up here recently, and he said that the Mustache Man was a Christian, and I have to answer for what the Mustache Man did. And I was pointing out to him, Joseph, that claiming to be a Christian does not make you a Christian. You have to show fruits of Christianity to be a Christian. And then he said, but they're showing me the fruits. And I'm like, no, the Bible tells you what the fruits are. So what are those fruits, Duke? What are those fruits? He's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
But when it comes to the Bible, should I send a bear to kill someone because he made fun of me?
Oh, no. You have to make a distinction between descriptive passages that are historical passages that describe what takes place in history, and prescriptive passages, passages in the Bible that are literally laws that you are supposed to follow. So the law in Romans chapter 10, verse 13, which says, love your neighbor, love does no harm to a neighbor. You would not do that if you love your neighbor. You just have to read the Bible and read systematic theology to understand the distinctions between these things. So no, you're not supposed to use a bear to unalive someone because the Bible says
So
love
why
your
God
neighbor.
did it then?
Wow. Why did God do
Why
it?
God
Because
did it then?
because God is the judge, God is the sustainer, God is the ultimate natured entity of all things, and all of us have fallen short of his glory, all of us have sinned, and the wages of sin is unalivement. It's DEATH. So every time God withholds his hand from taking the life of a sinner like you and like myself, God is showing mercy and grace. But when he decides to take the life of a sinner, he's just being just. It's just justice. So
Well,
he
like,
took the life.
well, honestly, like I don't go based on belief. I go based on reality. I
Okay.
can show to you that I'm a good person in a certain way. I can show to you that I'm a bad person in certain ways. All I know is that I gotta stay on the good path for
Okay.
people not to see me as a bad person.
So in your worldview, where God does not exist, how do you account for moral facts? Tell me why it is wrong to beat an old lady on her knees with baseball bats. Why is it wrong?
Like when it comes to like the commands that God gave us, I would say that it is wrong to beat someone up.
Yeah, it is wrong according to my worldview if God exists. But let's say God doesn't exist because you don't believe in God. Why is it wrong to beat an old lady on her knees with a baseball bat?
Because that was something that I was told when I was a kid, going around and punishing someone because they did something is bad. It's something that
Okay. So would you would you say that the parents of a child determine what is wrong and what is right for them? What if your parents told you that it's okay to beat old ladies on their knees with baseball bats? Would it be right? Because I'm looking for the ultimate here. If God is not the ultimate, because in my worldview, God is the ultimate of everything, including moral facts.
Okay, but my thing is, why the parents take their children to church?
I guess I will answer it by saying parents should take their children to church because the Bible says that you should raise your children up in the discipline and knowledge of the Lord. But back to what I was saying to you, you said that You think it's wrong to hit old ladies on their knees with baseball bats because your parents told you. So are you saying that the parents, what they teach their kids, determine what is moral and what is immoral?
Yes.
Okay, so if a parent tells a child that he can go and steal and he can go and unalive people who are innocent, does it now become a good thing because the parent told the child to go do that?
I mean, it's on them if they just want to go out and do it.
So it's a good thing if the parents told you to do it.
And a certain, like, it's bad, but it's on them if they want to go out and do something.
So are you contradicting yourself by saying if the parents told the child to go do a bad thing, it's bad, but earlier you said if the parents told the child to go do something, it's not bad because the parents said they're supposed to go do it. That's a contradiction.
All right, good luck.
The same way that the Bible contradicts itself like 3,000 times, I think, or more.
There are no contradictions in the Bible.
So you just want me to go more based on belief than reality then?
Look, I'm using your worldview, man. I'm just assuming for the sake of argument. God does not exist. The Bible is false. Okay. How do you justify moral facts? Why is it wrong to beat an old lady on her knees with baseball bats? You said because your parents said no. And then I asked you, what if your parents said the opposite? You said that they would be telling you to go do a bad thing. So that means your parents are not the ultimate. Something else determines what the bad thing is. We haven't gotten there yet, but you contradicted yourself earlier. Is what I was saying. But tell you what, man. Just go and do some reading into systematic theology. Go and do some reading so that you can know and understand these things and accurately represent Christianity. Okay? Thanks for coming, Joseph. Okay, someone else was requesting up. Shanat. Yeah, you and Darth are gonna have a conversation, man. Hold on, Darth. He's coming up. You said wait, Darth. I was asking him what is it that is ultimate that determines what is right and what is wrong. You said you can answer that. What is it? That is not God. That is ultimate. That defines what is right and what is wrong. Go ahead.
The question that you asked him was more along the lines of if your parents. I mean, how do you? Why is it wrong to hit an old lady in the knees with a baseball bat?
I was actually asking him what is the ultimate that determines right from wrong, and I used the example of the baseball bat, and he said because his parents, there is no ultimate. Okay, so there is nothing ultimately wrong with hitting old ladies on the knees with baseball bats.
How did you? We have here is the human desire to do the best for the most.
How did you determine there's no ultimate?
Because things change over time.
That doesn't follow the fact that some things change. It doesn't follow from that there's not something ultimate.
I mean, there's no way to determine if there's something ultimate.
You've now contradicted yourself.
No, I'm saying that there's no.
Hey, Shane, you just flatly contradicted yourself.
Okay. Because I was coming to answer another question. But let's start.
Wait. We're not going to.
You're saying, how do I understand that there is no ultimate? I'm saying that I don't know.
Shane, I'm a moderator in here.
Okay.
Now, Shane, you're not going to bulldoze your way out of this. Now, do you admit that you contradicted yourself?
That was a contradiction because I misspoke.
No, sir. Now, that's an untruth. You didn't mistake.
I mean, I never really even got to finish.
Shane, please conduct yourself like an adult. Right? Now, you did not misspeak. You boldly declared there is no ultimate. That's not a verbal faux pas. Okay?
Okay, so
if I were to say, can I get an entire sentence out, please? Shane, Can I finish my sentence? Are we, Shane? I don't want to have to kick you.
Sir, you asked me a question.
Shane. Okay, bye, Shane. Bye. Goodbye.
I said yes.
Bye.
That was not a verbal faux pas. He contradicted himself.
A verbal faux pas is that when you say something other than what you intended. Like if I said, well, President Biden instead of President Trump, right? But you boldly declared there is no absolute. Then when I asked you to account for how you could determine that, you realize, oops.
Yeah.
And then after you admitted that you contradicted yourself, you tried to sugarcoat your contradiction by saying it was a verbal faux pas. And it was not a mere verbal. I perfectly know the difference between misspeaking versus an outright universal declaration that's false.
And things changing don't entail that there's no ultimate, because the ultimate could be changing the things that are changing. It doesn't necessitate there's no ultimate. I mean, what an answer! What an answer!
In order for there to be things that don't change, requires an ultimate. So the fact that some things change, okay, yeah, these people are worse than amateurs.
Look, he's trying to come back up. He wants to finish. I'm gonna bring him up and see if he can finish his sentence. No? Okay.
No, he's too immature.
Okay. So, if someone said that to me, things change, therefore there is no ultimate, I would simply say that God, upholding all things by the word of his power, he is the ultimate reason why things change in the first place. So it doesn't negate God being the ultimate.
No, these people just make this stuff up as they go along, and they think that no one's going to catch them.
Look, it's because their worldview does not have an ultimate. It doesn't. And if they don't have an ultimate in their worldview, then they can't say that your ultimate is false or your ultimate is not there. They can't say that. It's called the fallacy of unwarranted exclusion. When you say you don't know what something is, but you know what it isn't. That's a fallacy.
The logical reason for atheism is because of reality.
That is a completely uninformative statement.
That's very funny. That's very funny, Doug. That's very funny, Doug.
Doug, I'm going to ask you a question, and if you dodge, I'm going to kick and block you. Now, Doug, what is your favorite color?
The Christian God or any God? How's your evening, Darth?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you on Adrian's Live in a while.
That's because I didn't pay him last month.
Darth, do you think that, you were talking about William Lane Craig before on P. Mars's Live. I was wondering if, in the realm of, where he likes to have debates and, his field, do you think he would lose credibility if, he denounced, evolution? So, what do you think is his reason behind denying, earlier young Earth?
Well, William Lane Craig was asked on a British TV show what his view was on the idea of deep time, and he goes, I go with the flow. What do you say?
All right.
Look, this is a guy, I'm going to be reading his 4-volume series, Systematic Philosophical Theology, and I look forward to learning an immense amount. He is a staggeringly brilliant man in philosophy and theology, and I have a lot of respect for him. But that doesn't mean that he has some serious problems in his views, biblically speaking. So on the one hand, I could acknowledge his brilliance in theology and philosophy and also criticize him, like when he denies the worldwide flood or he denies that there was a Garden of Eden.
Yeah, that's not good.
And what was that book on Calvinism you said you were going to read that you just picked up?
Systematic Philosophical Theology. It's a 4-volume set. 3 are out. The next one will be out in August.
I have all 3 because of you, Darth. Have all 3 because of you. All right, so we have another request here. Shane is still trying to come back up. Shane, what? Shane, nah? That's your name?
What was his objection? Anything like coherent?
No, he's another one of these people who don't know anything about metaphysics. They get caught with their hand in the cookie jar contradicting themselves, and then they lie about their own contradiction.
Yeah. Atheists do that a lot. They contradict themselves all over the place.
Yeah, Darth, I was on Tabs Live, and someone was like, God created evil because he created the tree that had the knowledge of good and evil on it. I was just like,
people are idiots. Okay, that was the name of the tree. How does it entail that the tree was evil?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Myself a little. Okay. All right. Like talking to brick walls. Bet you guys are American. Hey, I'm not American. Maybe the other 2 guys are.
What?
No, I'm not American. I'm Jamaican.
Oh my goodness.
I'm 100% Jamaican.
Oh no.
Hey Shane, Darth is the teacher, man. When he comes up, he gets to teach. He gets to teach. No, I'm not based in America either. I'm Jamaican, 100% Jamaican. My accent is all fabricated.
You have to say Jamaican, man.
Yeah, man, Jamaican, man, Jamaican. Let me bring this back up. Yeah, so I'm not American. I would love to go to America one day, and I know if I was an American, I would be Republican. Because if I have 2 piles of shit to vote for, I'm going to vote for the least pile of shit. That's how I see it.
Right.
Because Donald Trump is not exemplary of Christianity, but he's closer to Christianity than the other party. I can say that.
Mm-hmm. For me, as long as unaliving of like little humans is legal, then I vote Republican. So.
Yeah, that's where the tides would turn for me as well. I could never vote for a party who was in favor of unaliving a baby up to the day. I mean, you could take your baby's life. 9 months. 9 months, bro.
This is how demonic these people are.
My goodness, bro.
Yeah.
Not every. I wouldn't say everything about Republicans are Christian, but they're damn sure closer to Christianity than Democrats. Damn sure. Yeah, we have a lot of scared atheists, Darth. They ain't coming up. Whenever you come, they run. They run.
Oh, they're busy watching their favorite animated movie, Chicken Run.
Yeah, they're scared. They're scared. And, I've been watching your debates a lot on YouTube. There's this guy named, I think it's T Rabbit or B Rabbit. Some rabbit guy.
Oh, Tom Rabbit.
Tom Rabbit, right. I've been watching Darth's debates on there, and
he's a scoundrel.
The atheists always squirm when he asks the same question. What is it that is ultimate, non-dependent, non-contingent, that is not God in your worldview that actualizes, sustains, and governs all of reality? What is it that's not God? They're like,
Science.
I don't know.
Reality.
Or why do I need an ultimate? Why do I need an ultimate? I'm like, answer the question.
We're better off talking with teenagers.
Oh my god, this is crazy.
I heard. I was listening a few years ago. Darth went on. I think it was Atheist Experience, and he's like, do you agree that if God exists, he would be the foundation of well-being? And the guy's like, no. First, you have to prove God exists, and then you would have to prove he's the foundation of.
You see how stupid that is?
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean? That clearly entails God existing.
Yeah, the claim that God is ultimate, it would entail that by anything existing, it proves that God exists. It proves that He is.
Yeah, but he's like, no, you have to prove that.
God is by definition ultimate.
Yeah.
Right? Look. Luke Skywalker by definition is a Jedi Knight. Obi-Wan Kenobi, look. So you see, this is. Look, they don't exercise critical thinking skills.
Right. And they don't understand that with reference to agnosticism, by not affirming that God is necessary and ultimate, you are implicitly saying that something else is necessary and ultimate. There is no agnosticism.
It's an indirect denial.
It can't be left blank. Exactly.
Yeah,
you can't be
deny God. They think that the only way to deny God is to formally do it. No, you can informally deny God just by simply refusing to acknowledging His necessity, which will constitute an end. Look, if somebody affirms naturalism is not a formal denial of God, but it's an indirect denial of God.
Right.
So likewise, when we speak about the world, when we speak about things of the world without referencing the necessity of God, that is a de facto indirect denial of God.
Yes, that's why I said that all statements that do not necessitate or make reference to the necessity of God is a denial, whether it's indirect or directly. It's a denial of God. So what is it that is ultimate, that is not God in your worldview, that institutes and imposes all of what we see in reality, unifying all the particulars in the set? What is it? What is that thing? They don't know. And every answer they give or attempt to give, it makes no sense. It's not informative and it's illogical. Everything they say.
Okay, I've come up with a better way of saying it. Okay. What is it that is ultimate or absolute, that actualizes all that is and cannot be?
Fish and cook.
What is it that actualizes foundationally all that is and cannot be?
I actually have it in my notes. Hold on. Because when I was watching those debates, I was taking down everything you said and putting it in a file and typing it up. And wait, let me see. Definition. Because when you give a definition of God, you say things like, God is the ultimate, the personal, rational mind who is non-dependent, non-contingent, who grounds and sustains everything, including all the facts we have been, are, and will be acquainted with, the source of all possibility and impossibility.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so if you deny that, then by default, something else is ultimate. And what is that thing that's not God, that is ultimate?
That's it?
And everything I just said, it's rooted in the Bible. God is necessary. He's a self-existent being. He's non-contingent, non-dependent. He's a mind. He's personal. He's a source of all facts, a source of all possibility and impossibility. He's the unifier of all the particulars in the set of reality. He's the sustainer and governor of all of reality. You can't be neutral about a God like that. You can't be. You can't say you don't know. Because by speaking, by invoking propositions and making acts of predication, every time you speak, you are speaking with reference to an ultimate. If it's not God, what is it? What is it?
Exactly right. And denying God, you have to actually use God's attributes and property set to actually deny him. So the process of denying is actually presupposing him to even make the denial. And it just reduces you to absurdity.
It's a performative contradiction. You're denying the thing you're using. You're denying the grounding for the thing you're using. It's performative.
Yeah, it's like denying the law of non-contradiction. Denying it presupposes it, so it's impossible. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's this thing too when you ask them, okay, so you're a naturalist. What is your justification for naturalism being true? They say, well, science. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Science already assumes, rather, the scientific method already assumes the conclusion that you have drawn. So it still begs the question. If you're saying that you believe that everything is natural and your proof for that is the scientific method already assumes your conclusion, which means that your entire worldview is built on the fallacy of begging the question. There's no way for you to escape that. So if the scientific method is what you're using, well, the scientific method does not give you absolute certainty because it's based on induction. And if based on induction, you don't know with absolute certainty that naturalism is true, do you? If they say they know with absolute certainty, they are contradicting their worldview. If they say they don't know with absolute certainty, then you cannot make the universal claim there is no God in virtue of naturalism, because it doesn't follow. It's a non sequitur. It's non sequitur. As Darth said, all you got to do is just have an elementary knowledge of logic and reasoning, and you see that these people don't know what you're talking about. They do mental gymnastics to try and get around these things, and they don't. They can't.
Yeah. There's I forget. I watched it a while ago, but there was this radio show Darth went on. It was like 3 or 4 parts of it, and really all they did was just run from it the entire time.
Yeah.
Darth, I don't know if you remember going on this radio show. It was like really embarrassing.
That happens frequently.
Hey, was it the one that had 2 old guys and a lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Look, once you start watching Darth on YouTube, YouTube just starts recommending videos of him. Hey, Darth, there was this very hilarious debate you had with this lady named Shannon Q. This lady was so obnoxious. Oh, my God. It's terrible. She was trying to psychoanalyze Darth because she knew she could not handle the questioning. She knew she couldn't handle it.
It was a pure diversionary tactic.
She couldn't handle it, man. Oh my goodness, it's terrible. It's terrible. And her whole argument was, if you have a lobotomy or you have like brain surgery, your entire personality can change. So how do you reconcile that with having a soul being distinguished from your body? And Darth was saying the Bible does not speak to that. The Bible doesn't speak to that. And she was like, okay, that's somehow a concession that Christianity is false. No, that's not a concession. Every time Darth asked her and pressed her on what is it that is ultimate, non-dependent, non-contingent, that actualizes, sustains, and governs all things, she just diverts. She just tries to change and says that Darth is using a script. No, these are very genuine questions. Very genuine questions. You can't answer them.
Mm-hmm. Or they'll be like, "Oh, I don't need to know," and then they're like, "Oh, I can like use a car without knowing how the mechanics work." I'm like, dude.
That's the pragmatic fallacy. When you say that something is true because it works. Something working does not necessitate it's true. It's a pragmatic fallacy. So if you have to use a fallacy to justify your position, then that's a problem. And another thing they like to do is it's called the fallacy of unwarranted exclusion. When you don't know what something is, but you claim you know what it is not. You have to possess positive knowledge to make a negation.
All the time.
So, do you have your computer in front of you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, click on the link to the cloud resources.
Actually, how I access that is through my iPad, the cloud resources.
I don't want to hear your excuses.
Yeah, it's not on my computer. It's right here. I have it right here.
What do you Jamaican?
Yes, I am. What do you want me to pull up for you, Darth?
Go to the Apologetics and Christian folder. The Apologetics and Christian Philosophy folder. On that link. Not on your downloads.
Apologetics and Christian Philosophy?
Yeah, on the cloud link.
Look what I got.
Yeah, I have it open right here. I have
Scroll down to Defending God's Existence MRC.
Get down to the D, C, D.
Something I'll cook for me.
Okay, so I see defending the faith. I see defending the gospel, defending your faith, an introduction, defending your faith.
You see Defending God's Existence?
Hey, let me just type it in.
I get one sardine. Is it good?
Make sure you have it loaded alphabetically. Make sure it's not showing stuff like recently, updated or anything. Just make sure it's just alphabetical.
Yeah.
So it looks like you maniacs left to take care of it. There's your boxes.
All right.
It'll be around you somewhere. Cheers.
It should be right after Defending Christian Theism. Talking about online, not something you downloaded.
Okay. I'm gonna have to open my cloud drive. Man, I
can't find it.
Man, I don't think I have that one. I don't think I do.
No. Are you listening to me? I didn't tell you to look on your downloads.
Mm-hmm.
I said look online.
Okay. What should I type in online?
Okay. Go to the online resource. Follow that link. And then go to the Apologetics and Christian Philosophy folder.
Oh, no. I'm gonna have to get the link I saved from you because I still have it. Hold on. I'm gonna have to get that link again. I'm gonna pull it up in a bit. Okay, here we go. Copy and into computer. eCloud link. Hold on, it's opening up. All right, so search for. Hey Darth, I have bad internet. My internet is not working as good. Bad internet. Having problems. Hold on.
Yes.
Let me see. Christian.
Adrian, I sent you a link to the book in your messages. So all you have to do is click the second link I just sent you.
Yeah.
Not the first one. That's the main link. The second link is the new book that you will thoroughly enjoy.
All right, thank you, Darth. I'm gonna open it right now.
So when it's working, just click on the second link in the message that I sent you, and you'll go to it.
Yeah. Defending God's Existence, MRC, higher res available in presuppositional folder. Yeah, Ken Ham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, great guy.
Yeah. This is probably a new book that you added to your to the P Cloud recently, because I don't have this one. Darth is always expanding his library, man. He's an amazing guy here.
I know. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
I got like
I've always held that Darth should lecture or teach at a university or a seminary.
yeah, he's not interested in any of that. So I'm just trying to get as much as I can from Darth
Yeah.
before the Lord takes him home.
Yeah, and that's any day now at my advanced age.
Oh,
Doug, I sent you the link in the messages.
oh, thank you.
Wow, there's this atheist live going on right now. It says in the prompt, since God exists, when is he coming back? I mean, these people are
They're intellectual morons.
oh my goodness. Yo, they are so funny. They're so hilarious. So now God's existence is contingent upon him coming to show himself to them, is what they're saying.
Yeah, well, they're idiots.
I remember this debate I was watching the other day. It wasn't a debate. It was Jesse Lee Peterson questioning David Silverman, and he asked David, "What would you accept? Why are you an atheist?" He said, "Because God hasn't shown Himself to me." And then Jesse said to him, "What makes you think you're that important for God to show Himself to you?"
Amazing. Beta.
Yeah, what makes you think you're that important for God to reveal Himself to you? And then
I wish Jesse would become a Christian, because I think he is a riot. He's hysterical.
Man, he drove David crazy, and one of his questions that really held him was, "Who are you?" David said, "Well, I'm David." Jesse said, "I didn't ask you what your name was. I said, who are you?" And then he said, "I mean, I just, well, I lecture. I like to read. I didn't ask you what your hobbies were. I asked you, who are you? Who are you?" He got stuck. And then he said, "You're asking me a question nobody can answer. Who are you?" And Jesse said, "Don't ask me. I asked you. Who are you? Who are you?" So the question of identity is something that the atheists struggle with. They don't even know who they are. It's a problem when you ask them that question over and over again. They don't know who they are.
Beta.
Drove him insane. And so we have no interactions today. Everybody's scared. Let me see if Bill wants to come up. Okay, he's not coming. We have 17 people here in the chat.
That's because the atheists are cowards. They only want a dialogue when they can hamstring people.
Oh, they love to go for low-hanging fruit. Stole that saying from you. Chill Will, come on up, have a conversation. What is your logical reason for your atheism? He's not coming up. She's not coming up. Let me see. I'm just sending out invitations here. Let me see. Mysterious Galaxy. He's a Christian, I think.
Yeah, he's very supportive.
Yeah, I think I saw him before. Yeah, only
You have to watch out. There's a troll out there who likes to impersonate him.
Oh, really? I'm gonna have to look out for that. Have you heard of the phrase?
The real mysterious when he has over 5,000 followers.
Don't say, please.
I mean, Tom Rabbit, he just keeps posting videos with your interactions to get his clout and get his large following.
Well, he wouldn't have people watching his channel if it wasn't borrowing my content.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a blessing. It's a blessing because even though like the title of a lot of his videos is Darth gets destroyed, Darth is trolled. When I watch those videos, I'm like, Darth isn't destroyed. The atheists are destroyed. It's amazing. I think it's clickbait.
Adrian, how come you don't have a Jamaican accent?
I think it's because I grew up around Americans. I think that's the reason. Well, not Americans, people who came from America to be students in Jamaica. I grew up around them, so it's like it was a no-brainer.
I got you, man. I got you, man.
Yeah, so it was nurture. It was nurture, not nature. It was nurtured in. I had to speak like this so that they could understand me, and it was from a very young, tender age. So I lapse into this when I talk ordinary Jamaican. So this is natural to me, whereas the other thing where I grew up is not natural. All right, so we have John requesting up. Let's bring up John. This guy named Fat Jesus Resurrection. Okay, that sounds like blasphemy there.
Well, if he wants to change his screen name, we'll be glad to talk with him. Welcome, John. Welcome, John. What do you want to talk about?
Actually, sorry, I was just listening. I'm actually watching the hockey game, so I didn't. I was just listening.
Slow down and speak clearly.
I said I didn't mean to join. I'm watching the hockey game, and I was just listening to you guys, so that was a mistake. So my apologies.
Oh, okay, understood.
Okay.
All right, so this guy.
Wait, in case you're wondering, when you get that book, it says Defending God's Existence, MRC. That's just MRC is mixed raster content. It means it's compressed.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to reading it.
The screen images are compressed so that it's a smaller megabyte file.
I have everything on Adobe Acrobat, so I can literally listen to every PDF I can listen to it being read to me as it traces the words, so I can get through books faster than I would normally do otherwise.
That's nice.
I'm getting a lot of reading done, man. My favorite one, though, is Scott Shakowski, what he pointed out with reference to Anthony Flew and the presumption of atheism. I see where a lot of atheists, it's like a talking point. They always say it. I just lack belief in a God. The burden of proof is on you to convince me that God exists. I'm like, no. No.
So Scott Shakowski's paper is a godsend. It's been such an enlightening paper. I need to go back and restudy it again. Every aspiring Christian who wants to defend the faith should that's a required reading to study that paper.
Right.
Also, there's another paper, Atheist Teleology. That's a must-read as well. It's a much easier to read paper than the Atheological Apologetics. But if you haven't read Atheist Teleology, you should read that. That's because atheists are basically the gist of the paper is when they defeat rationales for God, like intelligent design, they're smuggling in Atheist Teleology, and that's the title of the paper.
Mm-hmm. No, okay, I'm gonna get into it. This guy says, "How can you believe in talking donkeys and magic? It's baffling." I mean, bro, you believe that we all evolved from a single-celled amoeba in soup.
Atheists are talking jackasses, so what's the difference?
Oh boy, It's amazing. You know, it's baffling to me how you can believe that we evolved from a common ancestor and find a talking donkey to be, unusual. Oh, you're not an atheist. So if you're not an atheist, why are you? I mean, I don't even know what to say there. Come on up and have a conversation. You're not an atheist. Why do you find it ridiculous that the Bible teaches that donkeys talk? What's going on there?
Well, you see, this is just another straw man attack on the Bible because a donkey didn't just spontaneously talk.
It was a miracle.
God caused the donkey to speak to Balaam to communicate him. So this was a divine miracle. So we don't believe that. And by the way, in your worldview, anything can happen.
Yeah, because there is no ultimate dictating what is, can be, and cannot be.
Because anything can happen in a godless world.
And then drop it, TJ.
Yeah, there is no ultimate dictating what is, can be, and cannot be. So anything is possible. Anything. I remember you cornered, man, what's his name again? Damn. Lawrence Krauss. You cornered him on that question. And he admitted that anything is possible. He literally admitted it.
He quickly wanted to get rid of me because I called his bluff. Because he always says we don't need God, we can explain everything to the laws of nature. So then I ask him, what is it that's ultimate that dictates what is and cannot be? And he goes, I don't know, why does it even matter anymore?
I didn't take it.
No, he was really upset. He was really upset. And I heard when he literally admitted anything is possible. Anything is possible. Because he has nothing dictating what is, can be, and cannot be. There's no ultimate that institutes and imposes regularity in the universe so that we can expect things to be the way they are and things to not be a certain way. Hence, impossibility. He doesn't have that. So anything is possible. Anything. It's insane.
So who's gonna eat it?
Whose channel is this? All right. Guys, I'm going to jump off of here. I got to tip my wife somewhere, so I'm going to jump off. But I'll be back later, all right?
When you get around to perusing the book, and the next time I see you, let me know what you think of the book. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get into it.
He's the editor of the book.
What?
Yeah, that's what the cover says, edited by Ken Ham. But I'm going to read it because everything you recommend, I read. Because, I learn a lot when I read what you recommend.
Oh, Timbo said he's going to request.
Who said what?
Timbo. I don't know if you have time for one more, but
Timbo. I don't see. Oh, Timbo. Let me invite him up. I just invited Timbo. Okay, here he is. Timbo, what is your logical reason for why God doesn't exist, or your logical reason for atheism?
Are you trying to lock me up? No, I was gonna lock
Well, which are you asking?
The first one. What is your logical reason for your atheism?
The proposition that a God exists has not met its burden of proof.
That's an appeal to incredulity.
No, it isn't.
Okay, is it your position that God does not exist?
No.
Okay. Are you neutral about the existence or non-existence of God?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if somebody affirms naturalism, are they indirectly denying God?
I don't know.
I didn't hear you.
I don't know what you mean by that.
You know what naturalism is?
Like that everything has a natural explanation?
No, everything that exists is natural. Nothing supernatural exists.
Right, that's just
If somebody asserts naturalism, are they indirectly denying God's existence?
Not necessarily.
No, necessarily. It necessarily follows.
You're just trying to slough off the burden of proof.
Okay, all right, dude, you're completely uneducated on the issue.
Why don't you run away like
Can
you always do?
propositions look? If you're gonna bicker with me like a teenager, I'm a moderator. If you're just gonna bicker, I'll just kick you. Okay, all right, you're gonna pull your shit
Don't
again.
let him run. Don't let him run.
Hey, listen, I'm being very patient. Now, can propositions be indirectly done? Okay, have a nice day.
Come on, don't be a bitch.
Bro, he's projecting.
Okay,
He's the one running. Zippo's running.
Yeah. So they would rather be embarrassed by pulling death by mod than honestly, transparently answer my questions. This is how stupid he is. He doesn't understand that affirming naturalism is an indirect denial of God.
He said that God hasn't met his burden of proof. I mean, you know the thing about it.
That's another. Look, this is an atheist cliche. This is why they don't try to defend the non-existence of God, because they can't. So they invoke incredulity.
I learned something from you. I learned the phrase "philosophy of fact" from you, in that their philosophy of fact.
From Van Til.
Well, from him, but I heard it from you first.
I got it from Van Til.
Yeah. So their philosophy of fact, they have created a standard for God to meet, and if God doesn't meet that standard, he therefore doesn't exist. But they violate their criterion of belief when they, demand a particular kind of evidence from us that they don't possess themselves for their own position.
Yeah, it's an arbitrary standard that they abandon when they embrace their model of reality.
Yeah. I always point out that contradiction. I'm like, hey, you're contradicting yourself because the standard that you demand
let's try Timbo
you can't do it.
again. Okay. So, Timbo, can propositions be indirectly denied?
Let me invite him up. Oh, he's back. Yeah.
Timbo, can propositions be indirectly denied?
Sure.
Okay. Can God be indirectly denied?
What do you mean when you say indirectly denied?
We're not playing the little game. What do you mean, Tim? Can God be indirect? Can God be directly denied?
Do you know how to define your bullshit, or do you just say this?
Okay.
He's running.
I brought you up here.
When did I
Out of
run?
the goodness of my. Oh, okay,
Guys,
bye,
I can't
Tim.
eat.
Bye.
Pussies.
Bye. Crash and burn. By the way, did you know, Adrian, that Van Til was actually Jamaican?
So much.
Hey, come on. He was not Jamaican.
No way.
I think he was probably I think he was German. I'm not sure. I have to read
Dutch.
his biography again. It's Dutch.
It was Dutch.
Yeah, very brilliant guy.
I have several good biographies in the Van Til folder.
It's Dutch. Very, very brilliant guy, Van Til. Very brilliant.
If you look in the Van Til folder, there's several really good biographies of Van Til.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read them. I mean, I learned so much from Van Til, and literally learning that the Christian faith is so easy to defend, but by just knowing a few basic things.
By the way, I'm getting 2 new books probably in a week or 2 on Van Til, and when I get my grubby little hands on it, I will share it with you.
Thank you. I'll hold you to that because I want to get everything from you that I can before God takes you home.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I want to get everything I can.
Well, you know what? I'm at the age where you can drop dead of a heart attack, but then again, my parents lived into their 90s, so I may have another 30 years ago.
That is very good. And I mean, Doug, Darth's mental acuity at his age is amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if he lived to 100.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised. But I'm getting everything. I can. Oh, guys, I gotta go. My wife is calling me. I don't want to get in trouble. Hey, it was good having you guys. Until later on, all right? God bless you.
I don't think that he's good for.
All right, I got to get out of here, everybody. It was a good run. When Darth comes up, it's always a blessing. All right, thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for watching. There is no logical reason for atheism. None whatsoever. And whenever an attempt is made, it's a straw man. Always a straw man, because you don't know what you're rejecting. So, all the comments on YouTube are probably going to be coming, but I don't care. I don't care. Atheism is a walking contradiction. Repent and believe the gospel. Have a good night, everybody.